All right, so I am going to show you guys in this video how to write your notes while you are doing your research for Project Citizen. So I'm going to refer to the note guidelines, and if I just click to the first page, the first question is where and how can I find valid sources? If you remember from class, a valid source is one that is trustworthy, it is real and accurate. Here are some of the recommended websites that I have for you all right here. And if you want to use a different website, you can refer to the website validity guide on this page. That just reminds you of some of the things to look for if you're trying to determine if a source is valid or not. And then down below, this shows you if you are searching on Google, these are some of the things you could type into Google to find what you need quickly. So I'm just going to go to one of the recommended websites, Newsela. So I'm going to click, I'm at Newsela, and let's say that my topic is animal abuse and my problem that I'm focusing on is animal shelters, or there being too many animals that are being abandoned and left in the streets. So I'm seeing there's a lot of different articles available. I am going to just click on one down here about pit bulls because personally I really like pit bulls, so I'm going to choose that one. So before I read, I need to go to my Google Drive and find my problem analysis notes. So over here on the right, this is an example of that. I'm going to fill in all of the basic information for this article first, which I've already done. So this is source number 1. The category is the causes of the problem. The title of the article is Chicago's Animal Shelters Are Full of Pit Bulls. That's actually different than what you see on the screen. So let me just copy and paste that really quick to fix that. And okay, so there's the title, and it is by, if I look back on Newsela, it is by the Chicago Tribune, and it was written on December 12th, 2013. So the first step before I even read, I need to, determine that this is in fact a valid source. So I'm going to pull up the Chicago Tribune website, and I'm just typing that into Google. And if I go here, I do a visual assessment. It looks pretty organized. It looks like a real website. I have heard of the Chicago Tribune before, so I already am pretty sure it is a trustworthy, a valid source. I know that a big red flag is whether or not they have their authors listed. So I'm going to click on the About Us page and see if I scroll through, it says that they have a whole section on accuracy and corrections. They have a policy on comments, and if I just click accuracy and corrections, let's see. So if I just read this part at the top, it says that they're very responsible, that they want to make sure everything they put is true, and they have professional behavior. So I'm going to go back to my notes now, and I'm going to give a 1 to 2 sentence explanation of how this source is valid. So this source is valid because it has a detailed About Us section and lists all of the authors, period. Okay, that's all you need for the validity to get the points for that. Now I'm going to go back to the source, and I'm actually going to read it. And while I'm reading it, I know that I'm looking for the causes of my problem, the problem of animal shelters being too crowded. So I'm going to only code for evidence pieces that relate to the causes. So let's say that I read this article, I do that. Over here, I've already filled in my gist. I'm not going to show you how to do that because you guys know what a gist is. You've done them several times. So I listed out the 5 W's, and then I wrote my gist over here. For the sake of the video, I will read my summary. It's since 2010 in Chicago, pit bulls have increasingly abandoned or placed in shelters by their owners because many apartment landlords have banned pit bulls from their properties. So you'll notice that in my gist, a good half of it is the cause for the animal shelters being crowded, which is that apartment landlords are not allowing people to have pit bulls living on their property. So now I'm going to go back and find some evidence choice that's a really strong example of that cause. And for the sake of this video, I've already found one. I am going to just copy and paste it really quick so that you guys don't have to have a 20-minute video. All right, so the evidence choice I chose is one that says it's from the American Humane Association, but they're saying that the most common reason owners give up pit bulls is that apartment landlords don't allow them, and that pit bulls are not welcome in many apartments or under insurance policies. So that really is a direct example of a cause as to why shelters are being overcrowded. So now I go to down below, I go to my interpretation. So I have some sentence starters over here, but really this is just your chance to show and explain what you learned about your problem that you're researching, what you learned about the causes, because that's what this note category is about. So again, for the sake of time, I have written one already. So I'm just going to, again, copy and paste it, and then I will read it to you really quick. So for this one, I said that from this source, I have learned that pit bulls are being treated unfairly because of their reputation for being violent or dangerous. This source also informed me of how public policy towards pit bulls has increased over recent years, and the government has chosen to regulate. If you remember this vocabulary word, nice job. Regulate means to control. So the government chose to regulate what pit bull owners are allowed to do. So that is my 2-sentence interpretation, showing again what I learned about the causes, how this source increased my knowledge about that. And then the last part of your notes chunk is just to ask a question that this source is leading you to ask. So for me, I noticed that the government has chosen to regulate what pit bull owners are allowed to do. So my question actually is, what kind of actions could the government take to support pit bull owners and their pets? Because I know that if that public policy can either mean controlling or regulating, or it can mean providing services and taking action in that way. And so I'm wondering what's a different type of action that the government could take that would help solve this problem instead of basically forcing pit bull owners to get rid of their animals. And that is it. This is a completed notes chunk for one source, and I am ready to move on to source 2 for another one about the causes of this problem. All right, I hope this video was helpful, and I'm so excited to read your guys' note chunks.